Goes Way, JFAX, Traders Way, Excellent Choice, and many, many more. And so, what do I mean? So when you log into the Harmonic Scanner, this is what it looks like, and all of your brokers are going to be found on the left side over here, right? So all of these different brokers are brokers, and so you'll simply click on those brokers, and that's where you'll actually find a trade setup. That's where you'll find an active trade setup for the Harmonic Scanner. Does that part make sense?
Yes,
sir. All right. So using different time frames. Time frames are very important, is a very important part of trading. When you want to get in and out of a trade setup and maybe scalp, you may want to look to use the 15-minute time frame. So if you just want to, do quick trading, scalping in and out, you don't want to spend a lot of time, 5 pips, 10 pips, you want to, focus on that 15-minute harmonic, right? In that lower time frame. When you're taking longer trade setups, mile swing trades, intraday trading, or intraday trading, right? You want to then focus on maybe that 1 hour or that 4-hour harmonic scanner pattern. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. So what I mean by that is whenever you click on that broker now, and you're going to find a harmonic pattern, these are going to be all the fresh trades over here to your left, and you're going to have the option to choose from 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, or daily. So if you want to scalp, or if you're a scalper, you probably want to focus more so on 15-minute harmonic patterns. Does that make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, great. If you want to do, you want to go for a few bigger pips, 20 pips, 30 pips, 40 pips, 50 pips, those bigger, trades, those intraday trades, then you may want to focus on that 1 hour or that 4-hour harmonic pattern. Cool? Cool. All right. So, are we buying or selling? And again, this is stuff that you guys already know, but this could be a really, really simple concept. The D, right, on that harmonic pattern. The D indicates the end of the harmonic pattern, which is where you look to, you guys can read this. I'm just, the train's gonna get better than this, I promise y'all. I promise. But the D indicates the end of the harmonic pattern, which is where you look to look for your actual move to begin. And so when the D's at the bottom, you're looking to buy the market, and when the D's at the top, you're looking to sell to sell the market. So in this example, do you guys see the D at the end of that harmonic pattern, right? So when the D is at the top, it's telling you that this is a potential sell setup, right? Mm-hmm. And when the D is at the bottom, this is showing you that this is a potential buy trade setup, right? And I try to keep this as simple as possible. So, take profit, stop loss. The Harmonic Scanner is going to give you all the suggested take profits and stop losses. And so, everything is going to be labeled on the right side over here. On the right side, this is where it's telling you where you should, your suggested entry. Hear what I'm saying? Suggested. This is telling you your suggested entry, suggested stop loss, your suggested take profits. Sometimes you'll have multiple entries and multiple take profits. And so, this is basically the harmonic piece to what we're doing. So did that part make sense? Yes. Right. So you guys have already been trained on this, so it's great too. But now we're already a quarter of the way done with the training. So adding the Ichimoku cloud. The cloud is an indicator. So I actually learned the cloud from Dr. Kathy Kirkman. When I started trading 2 years ago, that's all she did. She would use the cloud, and I truly fell in love with the cloud. And the reason I fell in love with the cloud is because I realized that the cloud is price action, and price action is the cloud. It's just one and the same. I'm going to show you guys some pretty cool stuff to actually build your confidence around the cloud. But real briefly, I'm going to share with you how you can actually add the cloud onto your harmonic scanner, the harmonic scanner. So in the top left, you'll see the squiggly line over the chart patterns. You simply tap on that, and that's where you'll add your indicators, and then it'll pop up indicators. So step 1, you click on that. Step 2, you see indicator. Step 3, in the search bar, you simply you start to type in the word Ichimoku, and then it pops up, and you just click on it, and then that's it. I don't change any settings. Everything is the same, and I'm going to share with you guys exactly why here in a second. So the characteristics of the cloud / trading, so this is now we're bridging market structure and then the cloud. So there are a few characteristics that I want to focus on, which is, I'm about to do this. Oh yeah, I'm not great. So, oh yeah, it's finna get good now. Alright, so the characteristics, right? So you have uptrends, downtrends, consolidation, support and resistance, and then entry techniques. And so this is all basically market structure. Here's the thing, like someone asked last night, Jazz, how do you trade? I only use basic stuff when I trade. It doesn't take a lot to become a really great trader. These basic concepts right here, if you can just study these basic concepts and master these basic concepts, I really believe you can become a very skillful trader. So just understand what an uptrend is and really study it. Don't just say, oh, I know what it is. Be able to identify an uptrend, being able to identify a downtrend, being able to identify consolidation. So when I first got in, everybody wanted to just mark up charts. I want to do it on my own. I want to mark it up. But I want to encourage you guys that you don't need to mark up a chart to be able to identify these characteristics of a trade setup, right? And that's why we're using the cloud. The reason we're using the cloud is because it's going to help us identify these different aspects or these different characteristics of trading. So when it does come to the cloud, we're just going to we're going to breeze through the characteristics of the cloud. Now these are two completely separate things. The first thing that we spoke about is the harmonic scanner itself. The second thing is an indicator. The cloud is an indicator. The cloud is an indicator. The same way the RSI is an indicator or the MACD is an indicator. It's just an indicator. So all we're doing is just adding an indicator onto the harmonic scanner. It's no different than adding the RSI onto the harmonic scanner, but I want you to be competent in how this indicator works because we're going to take those two components and we're going to piece it together to be able to come up with a fundamental, not necessarily fundamental, but be able to come up with a technical idea on what it is that we should do. So when it comes to the cloud, guys, how do you identify an uptrend utilizing this particular indicator? I'm gonna make y'all log on to Zoom and watch the training from Zoom. Everybody watching Nathan. So the way you identify an uptrend, basically whenever price is above the cloud, that's gonna let you know that you're overall in an uptrend, right? Whenever price is below the cloud, that's gonna let you know overall you're in a downtrend, right? So look, we have these different components. And you have uptrends. Boom, 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 boom. Where you have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. And sometimes I have to do this because when I do this, people are like, oh my God, that's different. That looks good. I want to learn how to do that. This is what I'm letting you know. You don't need to know how to do this in order to become a great trader. This right here, my friends, is an uptrend, right? And then we may have a downtrend. And the definition of an uptrend is a series of higher highs and higher lows, just gee whiz. Definition of a downtrend is a series of lower lows and lower highs, right? So here we may have a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, right? A lower high, and then a low. And then this here is our downtrend. And so most people stress and try to figure this out. And I want you guys to understand that I literally just showed you guys those two components. We just went over those two components without having to actually mark up a chart with lower lows and lower highs and all of that. Now we can just identify an uptrend by looking at the cloud. If it's above the cloud, it's an automatic what? Uptrend. If it's below the cloud, it's an overall what?
Downtrend.
If it's below the cloud, it's an overall
Downtrend.
If it's above the cloud, it's an overall
Uptrend.
And this is how I train, so y'all gotta work with me. I appreciate you. If it's below the cloud, it's an overall
Downtrend.
If it's above the cloud, it's an overall
Uptrend.
If it's in the cloud, it's
Consolidation.
Look at the next slide. Look at that. So whenever it's in the cloud, it's considered consolidation, right? If you guys need a photo of that, you can definitely take a photo of that. So what does it mean for any brand new people for price to be inside of the cloud. Remember, the cloud is that shaded area, and anytime price is inside of that shaded area, that's how you identify consolidation, or maybe a sideways moving market, and you don't want to touch it, you don't want to trade it. We don't touch it when it's actually inside the cloud. Now, the borders of the cloud is going to be used as support and resistance. So in this particular example,
could you go to downtrend again, please, bro?
yes.
Just get forward with that. Appreciate that, bro.
Hold on. We all put on this one.
I am putting these in the group as well, bro. So
Okay.
if you look in the Telegram group,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the group, man.
Got good.
Yeah, put it in the group.
So consolidation is in the cloud, support and resistance. So let me just kind of really break down support and resistance. So everybody stand up for me real quick. Actually, you can sit down. The chair is supporting your weight, right?
Yes.
Go ahead, stand up, because I'm not. But whenever we're standing up, the floor is supporting our weight. It's preventing us from going any lower. It's supporting our weight. Now, if we were trying to blast through, imagine if we were that rocket ship and we were blasting through, right? The ceiling would resist us from going higher, right? So support is the floor. The ceiling, right, is resistance. Resistance is the ceiling, right? So, thank you. So, does that make sense? I'm just such a visual. I'm so like, I think I don't know what I got. I got something. So as we can see in this example here, what we can identify is right here at the bottom of the cloud, price is sitting on that cloud, on the line. It's standing on that line. So that is considered support. Here, price, right? This is the borders of the cloud. Price right here did not break that cloud. That would be considered support. And so then we talk, does support now and resistance make sense? Because this is going to be really important. We're going to take all of these concepts and we're going to piece it together to be able to make a logical decision on whether or not we're going to enter a trade setup using a harmonic scanner. So I'm not going to go over a lot of entry techniques, but one entry technique that I will touch on is the cloud breakout. Here we have the cloud, right? And as you can see, price broke out of the cloud here. That candle broke out of the cloud. And so whenever price breaks out of the cloud, that is the I want you to understand what that is in the other trading space. So remember, whenever price is inside of the cloud, it's considered what?
Consolidation.
So what is consolidation typically? It could be that sideways moving market, right? So now, whenever price breaks out of that sideways moving market, right? Then that's how you know prices broke structure or price just broke out of consolidation. And whatever side it breaks out, boom, that's the side you trade. So now we're gonna look to buy the market. Here we'll look to sell the market. So instead of trying to figure all of that out on your, by yourself, we just use the cloud. And when we use the cloud, the way we do it is price breaks to the downside of the cloud. Now we're looking to short or sell the market, right? Price pushes to the upside. We're looking to buy the market. So let's tie it all together, right? So now we piece it all together, and we're gonna combine the entry suggestions from the harmonic scanner with the rules of the cloud, and we're gonna make a decision on whether or not it's a good trade setup. But before we do that, I want to share with you guys why, for me, I really enjoy utilizing the cloud. I'm really going to show you why I like using the cloud and why I'm so confident behind the cloud. So here's some things